live now. All right, let's just hold on so that people will get in here and then we get started. Once people get in here, I'll just want to apologize to them for 7 minutes late. I'm not known for lateness, but today is extraordinary. So let's just, I see 9 people in here already. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. And as you join, please go ahead and share. I know that we are already 8 minutes late, which is unlike usual. So I apologize for that. We had some technical issues, so we are trying to resolve it. But thankfully, we are here now. And as you join, please go ahead and share. I'm very excited today because I'm hosting one of my beautiful ladies. I know that today is going to be awesome. Thank you so much for joining. Karine, Adeyemi, Anthony, Emeka, Omumi, Collins. Thank you all so much for joining. As you join, please go ahead and share. So, happy Sunday, everybody. And today, hi, Joy. Today, we are still continuing our Safe Scrum series, and we are on episode 6. And so far, I'm just really inspired, and I'm so excited on how much people are willing to give out to the community for free, sacrificing their time, their energy, their knowledge, coming out here to share. It just means everything. We have already hosted so far 5 professionals, practitioners. That is, if I remember correctly, we had Aisha, we had Cynthia, we had Kilem, we had Uchena. I think that's it so far. And it's been awesome. All of the knowledge that they've shared so far, all of the resources, I really just want to give a huge shout out to them if they are currently connected. And I just want to let them know that I appreciate every little piece of contribution they've made to the community. And today we are hosting Chanel Gibson. And I'm so very glad. I'm so excited. And just to bring you all up to speed for those who are not familiar with what we are currently doing and who I am. My name is Karen Fomafung, your Agile Evangelist. And what we do, we share knowledge, we share our experience on the Agile ways of working, just as a way of giving back to the community so that we can continuously expand the Agile space, exchange ideas, exchange opinion, and continue to keep our learning alive. I always want to state that this platform, being Agile Consulting, anything we share here is not set on stone, and it's always very open, and it's not just restricted to myself or the co-host. We appreciate your input. Always leverage the comment section and share your own opinion around any topic we are talking about on that day. Like today, whatever we are discussing here today, would appreciate your input. If you have questions, go ahead and ask. It's going to be a conversational setup. It's not going to be us just sitting here and, spilling out information and then close out and go. No, we want it to be very interactive. And I always like to also establish that here is the safest place where you can fail and no one is judging you. You can share your opinion, whatever it is. No question is stupid here. Every question is very valid. As long as you are asking your questions respectfully, everyone's opinion matters on this platform. So again, it's the safest place you can fail fast and learn fast, and no one is judging you. Thank you all so much. As you join, please go ahead and share so that others can also join and we all continue to learn and grow. So our topic for today, we're going to be addressing how it works in real life, PI planning, focusing on the preparation phase before we get into the actual PI planning. In addition to preparing as a Scrum Master to step into the shoes of the release train engineer and pick up on the slack in case anything goes wrong. So those are the 2 things that we're going to be focused on today. And I'm so excited again that Chanel is here to share her experience on how she have handled these things in the past. So I'm just gonna pass the ball to Chanel so that Chanel can properly introduce herself to us. Chanel, please go ahead, tell us who you are, and then I'm just gonna cap that with what I know about you.
Okay. Hey everyone, I'm Chanel and I am a senior Scrum Master. So I've actually been a Scrum Master for the past 5 years now. And I love helping organizations build their Agile teams, throwing those Agile values into the team and building our foundation on that. And just watching the team become self sufficient. They're more empowered to do things. I just love seeing the transformation, and it just really brings a smile to my face. I love what I do. I love helping to influence others in the agile way of working. And it's just been a huge passion for me. And so outside of that, in my spare time, when I love to help elevate others in their careers as well, with helping with resume help, as well as teaching the basics of SQL as well, to transition into technology. So I just have a passion for helping others. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chanel. So just to add to that, we have the culture of humility. So Chanel may not put out, herself like that because again, she's a humble person. But I'm just gonna add to what I know about Chanel. And I've been working with Chanel for a little bit and I really appreciate her. And when I reached out and asked if she would want to be part of this initiative, because there have been a lot of lingering questions around the safe way of working. And Chanel really wanted to do it, and I was so excited. And I'm just going to share with you a little bit what I know about Chanel. So I know that Chanel is a practicing senior Scrum Master, just like she stated, with an extensive years of experience, and she currently serves in a healthcare insurance industry. She's a very passionate person about helping organizations build agile teams with an ultimate goal of delivering outstanding results to their customers. So, in her spare time outside of Scrum, she also loves elevating others by doing resume, LinkedIn revision. So, if you have any issues with your LinkedIn, you want it to, revamp, Chanel is that go to person. And she is also very passionate about helping people with basic SQL skills, and which you can use to add to your resume. So if you are in need of any SQL guidance or something like that, Chanel is that go-to person. So as we progress, I'm sure that we will provide her contact information and stuff like that, that you can easily find her on social media or other channels. So thank you so much, Chanel, and I'm very excited to have you today. All right. So let's get started. So for those who just joined, again, thank you for joining. Please, it's important that as you join, go ahead and share, like is free, it doesn't cost you anything, so just press that like button and you should be good. So today we want to address as a scrum master how you prepare for a PI planning. Those who don't know what PI planning is, it only means program increments planning, and it's one of the most important event in the scaled agile framework setup. You see, so Chanel is here to talk to us about or share her experience on how she has done these things in the past, how she would prepare for a successful, smooth PI planning event. So, Chanel, please just go ahead and the first thing I would like to know is how did you even find yourself into this whole career path of becoming a Scrum Master, especially in a safe environment?
So I started my journey. So I have a background in technology, and I've worked as a customer support analyst. I've worked as a project manager as well. And if you've been in the project management environment, it's very hardcore. It's very busy, a lot of things flying at you. And one of my girlfriends, she told me of how she transitioned. She was a school teacher, and she actually transitioned to become a Scrum Master. And she was just telling me how wonderful it was, and the agile way of working. And she told me the Agile Manifesto, and me being a project manager, I was like, oh my goodness, why isn't everyone doing this?
Yeah.
Because I just know, like, working with my team in project management, a lot of things they complain about is context switching, because
Mm-hmm.
they're working on so many different projects at the same time. And so they have to switch all the time, to where you think they're getting a lot of work done, but at the same time they're not, because it is taken away from that. And so once she told me about that, I looked it up and I wanted to know more about it. And so I looked up some information on Google, and then that's when I found out you could get a certification. And as soon as I could, I signed up to get certified, and that's how I got into it, and just started applying from there to, um, and I landed a role as a junior Scrum Master, and that's how I got into it.
Awesome. Awesome. That sounds really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. So I'm just curious, how have you been liking it so far?
So I love it so far. I don't even know how to explain it. Being a Scrum
Yeah.
Master, it's like, you know how sometimes you wake up and you're like, man,
Yeah.
I don't want to work today. I don't want to do this. I don't want to deal with all of this. When I wake up in the morning, I'm so excited to meet up with my team. I'm excited for our daily scrum, because we always play like a little game beforehand, and so we'll talk. We'll get to know each other. We'll do different things, and I love being able to help them, like make their lives easier, helping them with different processes, coaching them on different things, and then seeing the results from that. So it's a really fulfilling job, to be able to help influence people in that way, and to see them grow and add value back to the customer as well. The customer is satisfied, the team is satisfied, the org is satisfied. It's just a great, I don't know, it's a great place to me. I love it. I love
I can
it.
feel you. I mean, I usually tell people, if you're not doing agile, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
I don't know. I don't know what I was
So
doing before.
I know, like, it's just beautiful. So most of the times when I say this and people be like, it's because it's your job. I'm like, okay, that's the difference. Because to me, I don't see what I do as a job at all.
Yeah.
I see it as work. That is,
Yeah.
if you know the difference between work and a job. So I see this as, even if I'm not being paid for it, I will still do it anyway, because
Yeah.
it's what I live for.
Yeah.
So there's just no way I could survive without just being this. So it's just everything. And I usually like to encourage people to know that you don't have to do agile because you want to become an agile practitioner.
Hmm.
Just give it a shot. Just want to learn about it, and you would see it applies in everything in life, every area of life, regardless
Yeah.
of the profession you're into or the career you're into. You need a job. You need it to
It's funny
better
you
do what
say
you're doing.
that, Karen, because I actually found myself, like, when I first became a Scrum Master, actually applying to it how I parent my children as well. Like different things, like, if there's any type of conflict, like how I address it with them, how I talk to them in a way to get them to be more self-managed or to resolve the issue themselves. So it really is something that you apply to all areas of life.
I know. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So now let's touch on you as a scrum master in a safe environment, specifically on how you would prepare for a peer planning. For those that are just connecting this live for the first time, we have covered a whole lot of different sessions, really dissecting safe Scrum. So please go back to our previous recordings on this Say Scrum. You would learn a whole lot. So today is just a continuation of, different things we've covered. And again, we are focused today only on how to prepare for a smooth PI planning session. So Chanel, as a Scrum Master, please talk to us on first of all, I'm just curious to know the kind of team you support. Again, please keep in mind that keep your organization confidential. I would really recommend don't mention no name of any organization here. So just talk to us on what kind of team do you support in terms of is it a distributed team or all in-person setup?
So it's a distributed team. So I am remote. So I meet with my team remotely.
Okay.
And then our team is made up with business analysts, developers, as well as QA testers as well.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's all. That's all.
All right. All right. So so you're in a safe environment. So under that portfolio, how many teams currently support the portfolio?
So currently 3 teams.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So now that you are actually in a remote setup, I'm assuming your team members are distributed. So just talk to us how you would prepare for an upcoming PI planning. So what are some of the things you would do? What are some of the things you pay attention to ensure that your PI planning is successful? Just give us a summary of it and really focus on the things that are important from a Scrum Master perspective. And yeah, just go from there. Just talk to us about that.
So one of the first things is meeting with my PO to make sure we have our features defined. That's something that we do. So once the PI has started, literally the second sprint, I'm meeting with my PO to identify the features for the very next PI. And some people may say, why so early? Trust me, it's important that you always keep this in the back of your PO and your team's mind, because you can't wait till the PI planning day to do everything. You need to do that prep work, or else you are going to be constantly behind each sprint with what you had planned out.
Wow. Wow, awesome. So what are these things you do exactly as you're meeting your team members, talking with them? What are some of the actionable things that you would do to ensure that your prep is awesome and now you feel confident and you feel ready enough to execute the actual PI planning?
So for PI prep, we have this Excel sheet or document where we have each sprint listed out for the next PI. And so I set up a couple of meetings with my PO beforehand to help identify the features. And then we have an extra refinement. So we have a refinement where we refine things for the upcoming sprint. And then we have a refinement session for PI prep. And that's where we identify or write out the user stories that would go with those features and put it in that Excel document and have the PO start creating those stories as well to put in the backlog, so that when the time comes, we can organize it. Well, we try to organize it beforehand, but on PI planning day, we, look through it, make any changes we need to make, so that it can run smoothly. And also, we have a Scrum of Scrums with the other Scrum Masters. So we do that weekly, where we constantly discuss our PI prep to identify any dependencies between the teams, so that we know when we should start work or when we need to wait on something.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much. So the key things that I've picked out is you would proactively connect with your PO so that you all can start discussing the work items that have to go into that PI planning. And then you have some Excel sheet that you track all those things and write out the work items. And you also leverage your Scrum of Scrums, where with the other Scrum Masters, you all start proactively discussing dependencies and stuff like that. And all of these things are the things that you take into your PI planning as an input, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. So, one other thing that I am just curious about is have you encountered any challenge? So, what are maybe one or two challenges you've encountered, supporting a remote team, planning, looking forward to a PI planning meeting as you're prepping for this meeting? Is it any kind, have you encountered any challenge because of a remote setup, and you're thinking, oh, maybe if we're in an in-person environment, I wouldn't have been facing this kind of challenge? Have you encountered anything like that?
In my past, I haven't really encountered anything versus
Mm-hmm.
in person. I guess
Mm-hmm.
the only thing is having your team speak up
Mm-hmm.
when needed, like when it comes to writing out the user stories and um, getting them to provide input and with estimation and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, your team members may be quiet during those things, and you have to
Yeah.
figure out how to pull
Yeah.
it out of them. And that's why I stress that prep is necessary, because if you waited until the PI planning day and your team is struggling to
Mm-hmm.
write the user stories and things like that, it's going to take much longer than those 3 days
Mm-hmm.
that they planned out. And so that's why, sometimes when people are put on the spot like that, they may not be able to think of things, but if they're
Yeah.
able to come back to it, then they can. So that's why prepping is essential, because they may not think of it right then and there, but
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks later, they're like, oh, this is going to be a dependency.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
good to have enough time to really think about these things as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. So, aside from the Excel spreadsheet that you all will use to generate these user stories, or write these things down, so do you use any other tool for your entire, work tracking, or the whole PI activities? So what are the tools you use? Because I know that in my own experience, we use Jira to track all the activities for whatever we are doing under that portfolio. So what are the tools you use for to track the work and to collaborate and figure things out?
So we use Jira Align
Oh,
to,
Jira Align.
yeah,
Okay.
to coordinate. That's where we're able to put in our different features as well as our dependencies, our risk, and our objectives. All of that is tracked through there, and it's connected with the actual Jira software where we have our backlog and our different information. But it takes it a step further where you can see not only just our team, we could see all the other teams on the train as well, and see their dependencies and risk as well. So it allows us to collaborate there. Other tools that we have used, I don't know the formal name for it, but we have it's like a PI planning health check, where we identify the different stages of like, okay, we need to have sprint 1 through 3 plan, and 3 to 5, different things that we need to milestones, I would say. And then
Okay.
the Scrum Masters are able to go in and mark it red, yellow, or green to show where we're at. And then we could discuss, all right, is there anyone stuck on anything? Does anyone need help with anything? So we have that as well.
Okay. So for the red, yellow, and green that you just mentioned, are you all going in there to mark like the progress of the PI that is ongoing, or what exactly are you
Yeah, the
marking?
PI that's ongoing.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. And for those who are just connecting, thank you all for joining. If you have questions, thoughts, or anything regarding this topic, please feel free to use the comment section and drop your questions. We would definitely reserve some time to take your questions. So, again, thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share. If you want to support us in any form or shape, feel free to do so. Okay. So, the other question I have here for you, Chanel, is from a Scrum Master perspective, just talk to us on any circumstance that maybe you've come across any circumstance where by the way, let me just put that question aside. So who actually facilitates your PI planning meeting, or how does it work in your organization?
So the RTE facilitates the PI planning meeting, and then the Scrum Masters facilitate the breakout sessions.
Okay, awesome. So another part of our topic today is to also cover when how a Scrum Master should get ready to fit into the hat, or where the RTE's hats, just in case anything goes wrong. So would you just please talk to us about that, a circumstance where a Scrum Master would need to do that and how they can be successful in doing so?
Yes. So I was in a situation where the RTE on the day of the first day of the PI planning, their audio wasn't working on Teams. And so they took a few minutes to try to figure it out, but it just wasn't working. So the PI planning had to go on. So I had to step in and
Yeah.
cover the presentation that explains what the PI is, why we're doing it, and what we hope to achieve. So it's a good thing. So the RTE, we have this site on Confluence where we plan out the entire PI planning, like when who is doing the breakout sessions and what's happening. And so the RTE uploaded the presentation to that site prior for us to take a look at. And it's a good thing we did, because I wouldn't have been able to do that
Yeah.
presentation if I hadn't looked at that information. So I believe in every organization you should have like a PI planning preparation site where you put all the information in and upload any slides or anything that's going to be presented. So take a look at those slides, prep yourself as if your RTE might be out or something might happen, and they may be looking to you to step in to take that on. And so I had to take over that presentation, and then do the breakout sessions as well. So it's important to practice as if you're the one doing it, because you never know, you might actually do it.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's really amazing. So I'm just curious here. So when what happened, have had you all already discussed on, maybe you should be getting ready to step in, and has anyone, prepped you before then on how to actually get into this shoe and fit into it, or you just had to figure it out when it happened?
No, there was no prep for this. I just had to figure it out. I just took the initiative to take it over, because one thing, as a Scrum Master, wherever you can help, I mean, that's my heart, to help wherever I can. But as a Scrum Master, wherever you can help, go ahead and jump in and help, and jump in and do it, so you can have that experience. Don't worry about it having to be perfect or having, you know, all together. Just do it. It's a continuous learning environment.
Awesome. I
And
really love that. I really love what you just said.
yeah, and it's okay to fail, because you fail to learn. It's not really a failure, you're learning. So at whatever opportunity you get to jump in and help out, or they're looking for volunteers, I suggest you do it, so you could get that experience under your belt, and it builds that confidence as you go forward in your career.
I'm really glad that you're talking about this, because one of the challenges that I've observed in this space, especially with new Scrum Masters, are they're just so worried about, what if I make a mistake? What if I fail? Okay, I'm confused here. Like, the message you're bringing to your team members is continuous learning and continuous improvement, but
Yeah.
yet you are unable to reflect what you're preaching.
Yep.
So it's very important to have that mindset of, it's okay to fail. Nobody knows it all. Nobody, so you should be comfortable in being uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
That's really the only time you can learn, you can continuously grow. If you get to a place where you're comfortable in being uncomfortable, you know.
Yeah, and then you're asking your team to be transparent, but you're not being transparent yourself.
Exactly. So just it's simple. Just live by example. Just be the example on whatever you're preaching. You
Yes.
see. So and I also tell people that being pompous in a good way is not a bad thing at all. Because
Mhm.
where I'm at today is not because of I just sat and someone came to me and gave me things, opportunities to execute. No, I am so nosy, but in a good way. When I see opportunities to help out in the organization, I don't just sit there and hope that they come to me or wait to be told what to do.
Yeah.
I reach out. When I used to be Scrum Master, I would do the same as you. I'll reach out to the RTE. Now that we have an upcoming PI, is there anything you want me to help out with? For the facilitation, can I co-facilitate with you? And hardly ever would they say no.
Yeah.
Hardly ever. People love when you're reaching out and really looking to genuinely help out,
Yeah.
without any, malicious intentions or anything like that. That is how I've been able to gain experience,
Mhm.
and learn things. Just being able to challenge myself and taking up on, opportunities to learn and try out things, with an understanding that I'm not looking to be perfect. I'm just looking to make progress. As long as you're putting one step at a time every day, every little step matters a lot. So I really like that you're saying that, and that gives me the opportunity to also point out to our viewers how important it is to not wait until you're perfect. No,
Mhm.
start testing out the little things that you know, and with that, that is how you will continuously refine your skills, and you will become perfect. You will never even be perfect in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Now, another thing that I'm really curious about and I want to know is, so what are some of the real life challenges you've encountered during this whole PI planning activity?
Some of the challenges that I've encountered. So right now, with the team that I have, they are larger than normal Scrum teams should be. So one of the challenges that I'm facing right now is that our team is too large. Therefore, when we plan anything, it takes longer than normal. And then because it takes so long, sometimes. Team members can get disengaged after a
Yeah.
certain amount of time. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a challenge to during the PI to just get everything planned and keep everyone engaged,
Mm-hmm.
so that we could finish up strong. Another one of the challenges is getting empowering others to speak up and letting them know that their voice matters and that
Yeah.
we want to hear from them. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we ask for what do you think our objectives should be, do you see any risks? Let them know that it's an okay space to be real and be
Mm-hmm.
honest about what you see, your observations, because you may see something that I don't see, and that's important to the team. What you're seeing, what you're saying is important to the team, and somebody may want to say it, but they're scared to say it.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
just empowering them to speak up. And then I think one of the last challenges is planning with other teams as well, because every Scrum team is different. The dynamics are different. The way they do
Yeah.
things
Mm-hmm.
are different, and so being able to come to an agreement or on the same page with something, that's a challenge as well. But I think that's where the agile values come in, just reminding everyone to remember that when we are having these discussions, and so we can come to a consensus. So those are some of the challenges that I faced.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Chanel.
Mhm.
So when you mentioned the, just planning with other teams, because dynamics are different. I just want to share my own little experience on this and how I've been able to help my teams that were pretty new to all of this. So when we just introduced this whole PI concept to the teams, they were not sure on what exactly they should be doing and stuff like that. So there was another program teams that were already a little bit into it before us. So what I did was I had to connect with their your RTE and ask if my teams can come shadow, just see what you all are doing, be part of your PI planning meetings. And when you're having your prep meetings, if they can just shadow and see what's going on. He thought it was a fantastic idea. So that's how I was able to bring my teams in, and they would just be flies on the wall and just watch whatever they are doing. And we did that, like we attended like 3 different PI plannings, and that's instead of me struggling so hard to explain these things to them, because sometimes it's hard for people to really get it when you're just telling them. So they were able to watch other teams do these things, and that's how they were able to really understand how it works, see the value out of it. And we now, in our own area, we started implementing whatever we've learned from the other team, and that's how gradually we're able to get up to speed. So I just wanted to share that. And all right, thank you so much for sharing all of that. Now, my last question to you is, how do you feel overall so far, really being able to share practical experience as compared to those days where you would just hear all those things? How do you feel? Because me, just doing what I do, I feel a sense of accomplishment. Most of the time, people would, reach out, so many people in a day, and Karen, thank you so much. What you do, what you put out there, all the information you put out there, it helps me a lot. I've been able to land a job. I've been able to help my organization. I've been able to teach. I mean, people say so many different things, and that alone just gives me a sense of accomplishment. And I usually tell people that, okay, I'm so happy that these things are helping you, but what you all are not seeing is that it's helping me first. It's helping me first before helping you. So how do you feel overall, just being able to, especially the moment where you were able to step in and, pick the slack of your RTE? So can you just describe that feeling to us?
So for me, the feeling, I just feel really fulfilled. I really feel like I'm making an impact, and that, I matter as a person. The things that, I do or say or just think, it really matters. It's a really fulfilling feeling that, I was able to help out in that way. I felt like, part of the team, really. And it feels great to be able to know that my experience is going to help someone. Because I remember when, I would look stuff up, watch videos, and, you would hear these things, but you couldn't like make it click somehow. So being able to hear the real world experience is awesome, because a lot of times people teach like what is online and things like that, but not like, okay, in my experience, this is what happened, and this is what is happening for you to click. So it just feels really fulfilled. I feel fulfilled just knowing that I can help my organization bring value, and then I could now bring value to you all watching today. So it's great.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, I mean, you just saying that, I just also want to share a little bit of my experience. You all can agree with me that you would not find so many of us, on out there doing this.
Yeah.
Coming out here and sharing real life experience like that. You will not find that a lot. It's just been recently, especially when I started doing this, I started, putting all this information out there, that some few more people have, getting to that comfort space to, also start doing these things. But before, you would mostly find theoretical kind of things out there, but real practice like that, nope, you will not find it out there like that for free. I remember when I started doing this, even up to now, I still get those kind of messages. I will get all sort of bullies threatening me that what you're doing is wrong. You cannot just come on social media and you're putting information out there like that for nothing, sensitive information. I mean, one time I had to talk to one person. I'm like, okay, do you know that these books, the books that you go buy and read, it's exactly the same what I put here. The only difference is that mine, I come and talk about them. But these books these people actually write their experiences in books and sell them to you, and you go buy these books. So what's the problem if I choose to give my own for free? What's the problem? What's your problem in that? So when I said that, and then the person did not say anything again. So I just really, I mean, it's just fulfilling to be able to, reach out and, just share your experience and help people the way we are currently doing. So thank you so much, Chanel. I cannot thank you enough. So the last question I have for you before we start taking on questions from our team members. So I know that you've mentioned the tools that you use in terms of Jira Align and then the basic Jira. So throughout the preparation phase of your PI, what are the tools that you would use to communicate? Like, is it Outlook? Is it Confluence? What exactly do you use to communicate? Is it chatting inbox? Is it phone calls? Because these are some of the simple basic things that we happily talk about, but yet people are struggling with.
So I don't use email because usually everyone's email box is flooded with
Yeah.
all sorts of things. So they may look at it, they may not look at it. I really love either doing a Zoom meeting or I may talk to the team. We have our own team channel on Microsoft Teams, and so I like to share information there, and then like schedule a meeting for us to follow up on it, to talk about it. Also, I love doing one-on-ones with my team as well. I think they're very important to really hear from your team and see where they really are at, because they may not say it in the group setting, but they will say it on the one-on-one. Trust me. It's a really good avenue. But yeah, I love using our Microsoft Teams channel, because I love memes. So I'll always
Yeah.
drop a meme in there and like information for the team just to make them laugh. But also it helps them to look at the information. But yeah, Teams and Zoom mostly.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chanel. And that brings us to the end of my question is to you. And thank you so much for sharing all that insight. We have a ton of questions here from our viewers, and I would just like to run through the questions. But before we do so, again, this is a standard thing we do. I just want to remind us that, being agile actually offers Scrum trainings. That is, if you're looking to get into this field, there is no better place to go for help than being Agile Consulting. To be honest with you, we have our level 1 training coming up in September. The September session starts on the 6th of September. So if you are a starter, or maybe you've been doing a whole lot of self-studies and you're confused right now, because that's how it mostly end up, when you're doing a lot of self-studies, which is great, but you end up with confusion. If you're stuck in that kind of place and you need help, please reach out to us. And if you check, you would see, or I don't know if I put that there already, I don't know. So, but again, after this session, you can check the description box. You should get our contact information, or you just look up www.beingagileconsulting.com. Our logo is right there, very easy to track. Please reach out to us. You can reach out, email, call us, and we'll be more than glad to be part of your success story. And if you're in between just getting a certification and looking for that first opportunity, if you're in between that and you just don't know how to break through, we are here for you. We take pride in helping a lot of people through this. I don't know how to come here and emphasize a whole lot on what we do and the impact we create out there in the life of people. But believe me, we can help you. If you really need help and you want to be helped, reach out to us and we'll be glad to help you. If you're already on the ground and you're struggling in adding value to your organization, that's what we also do. We can be your friend and walk you through that journey to be successful. Again, reach out to us and we'll be so more than glad to help you through that. Again, go on our website, www.beingagileconsulting.com, and you can easily, pick up from there. And enrollment is already ongoing, and it will only be good for you if you're calling out to reserve your spot as quickly as possible. Now, Chanel, I also want to ask you, if our viewers are looking to connect with you, how can they reach you?
Okay, you can find me on LinkedIn, Chanel Gibson, and my tag is your friendly neighborhood Scrum Master. So
that's cool.
you can find me on LinkedIn. And then if you are interested in following me on Instagram, then my Instagram is at Chanel A. Gibson.
Awesome. At Chanel A. Gibson. That is on Instagram. And then on the LinkedIn, you just look up her name, Chanel Gibson, and you should be able to get a hold of Chanel. And thank you so much. And before we go to start taking questions, there's something very important I just want to touch base on here. So lately we have received information that, I don't know, there is someone online plagiarizing us and pretending to be in being Agile Consulting, and they even have a whole website acting like us. Please do not fall victim. Be careful. So when you go online, our being agile is not two words. It's only being agile is actually one word. Being agile is one word, and then consulting. That is us. And then our logo, only us have that logo, please. So please be watchful. If you don't see that logo, and on the website you're visiting, if you don't see me on that website, there are videos on the website that I am in the videos. If you don't see me on that website, then it's not us. And if you're calling and you're asking if this is being agile where Karen is a part of, if they are not saying yes, then it's not us, please. The same for LinkedIn. There is also an existing platform from what I've gathered, and acting as us is not us. You will easily tell because most of my contents are there, our videos are there on our LinkedIn. Being agile is one word. So please do not be fooled. A lot of people are using my name to do so many different funny things out there. Please, I'm only saying this out so that you shouldn't be fooled and fall a victim. So please be careful as you're looking for help. They know that people are desperate whenever they're looking for help. So most people feed on desperate people's vulnerability. So please do not fall a victim. It's really important. And one other thing that I like to, let us know, again, I will reserve that. It's very important news. I'm going to reserve that for the last, but let's take on questions here from our team members because we are almost running out of time here. And then I'm going to, make that announcement as the last thing. Now, the first question we have here. Oh, someone is just saying I'm God sent. Okay, thank you for that. Dorothy, thank you. There's a question here from Emeka. What is the frequency of your PI planning meetings?
So we have 6 sprints, and then we have our PI planning every 6 sprints.
Okay, so what's the duration of your sprints?
So
2-week sprints?
Yeah.
Oh, you have 2-week sprints? So you have PIs every 6 sprints. So that's 12 weeks, right?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Awesome. I hope that answers your question, Emeka. So the other question again, how many iteration sprints do you have in the PI? I think you already answered that one. 6 sprints. Apart from Jira Align, how can you track your team performance?
So we also use Jira, the reports that are in Jira. So we mainly use the sprint burn down and the velocity chart. We keep it really basic as far as that. And then my manager, she'll track like how many stories we've added after the sprint has started, and then how many stories we rolled over. That's basically all that we track. The less, the better.
Okay. And it works well for you, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. And then we have another question here. I would like to know how you identify a risk and how you were able to mitigate the risk. How you identify a risk and how you're able to mitigate a risk. I guess this person is asking for maybe an example of any risk you've identified as you're preparing for your PI planning meeting.
So when it comes to risk, it's up to the team to identify those risks. I mean, I could identify a risk, but usually the team is the one doing the work. So they are identifying any risks that are involved with the work. As far as risks that I've identified, I haven't identified any risks so far, but it's usually the team that's doing that discussion and identifying that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so I'm just going to share my own little experience when it comes to risk. So risk may be really anything, but it can have a really, really, really terrible impact, on the work that we are doing. So especially if you're working with team, especially during the COVID-19 period, like last year when the thing was really rampant, and would have team members that will fall sick, because of COVID, and then they'll not say nothing. They will not say they're sick, and then they will not show up. We are counting on their capacity for the PI. We're counting all of that, and then at the end of it all, realize that there is no one to do the work because team members are sick. We would not want our team members to be sick, and we wouldn't want to give them work when they're sick, but just because they were not communicating. So I saw that as a gap. So when we had another upcoming PI, what I did was I started proactively reaching out to these teams. So in the preparing phase, this would be part of the things I'm checking, checking on their capacity, if they're available. And we even had to review our team charter, our working agreement, and we added how to address absence. So if you fall sick or anything, please do your best to reach out to any of us. If you cannot reach out to the entire team through our team channel, reach out to your Scrum Master. Let them know that you will not be around, because you don't really have to give any justification, but just let us know so that we will not be counting on your capacity. So that's the risk. That, I mean, before it was already an issue because it affected our PI. We counted on some capacity that wasn't existing. But in the future, how I was able to resolve or deal with that was we had to, tweak our working agreements, and we added how to address absence as part of our working agreements. And then moving forward, you realize that when team members are not going to be part of, this upcoming PI for whatever reason, they're communicating that in advance. They'll reach out, they can post it, so that we can use that information and not set unrealistic commitments, counting on some capacities that would not be there. So I hope that answers your question. That's how I've been able to deal with. That's just an example of a risk that I've dealt with in the past. All right. Let's take on this other question. Good afternoon, NC Walker. Oh, please always put your website on the screen. Yes, thank you, Tafu. That's what I would do. Thank you. All right. Thanks for sharing, Chanel. This was very informative. Thank you so much for joining. And let's take this other question. Who have responsibility of your release burn down? As a Scrum Master, what do you do to keep the release burn down in sync with the release plan?
That's a good question. So, who has the responsibility of your release burn down? So, I think that responsibility definitely falls on the Scrum Master, the team, the everyone who's involved in that PI planning. As a Scrum Master, what do you do to keep the release burn down in sync with the release plan? So, basically just track, as each sprint is being done, you track the items that are to be released. So what we have is we tag our stories for which release they need to be a part of, and so that's how we are able to track and just consistently going back to that plan. So in Jira is where we have our stories, and then in Jira Align is where we have that plan. And so just taking the time, like every week or every 2 weeks, to just see where we are as we're burning down the stories.
Awesome. Emeka, I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for that insight, Chanel. So we have this question from Ellen. Do you use a calendar to track sickness and a vacation time for capacity? If so, what do you use?
So I use two things to track sickness, vacation. So when we created our Teams channel, we automatically have a Teams calendar, so the team knows to add any PTO or days they're going to be out to that calendar. Then I also have that Excel sheet where I have all the sprints. So before the PI planning, I get everyone's capacity for the the entire PI beforehand. Yes, it can change and things like that, and you'll add it to that document, but I try to get what they do know if they're going to be out beforehand, because it helps it to that you have that you're able to account for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So for me, what my team uses like way back is Confluence. So we actually create a calendar in Confluence, a team calendar, and that's what we use to track all of what you're asking, Ellen. That's really it. And then while we track all of that in Confluence, and the team will still ensure that if they are leaving, they will still create an whatever platform of communication, Outlook. That is, if Outlook is what we're using at that time, they'll create the Outlook calendar, still put it out there so that it should be visible on people's calendar. So that's what we use. So we're going to take the last question right now. And then, because we're right on time, and then I'll leave some time for me to make the little announcements that I have. So let's hear from Beatrice. What are the most common dependencies, and they similar in different industries? Are they similar in different industries?
So I think it's different. It depends on your team and what they do, because Scrum teams, some may be developing products, some may be just doing like new implementations or enhancements, and then some may be just the business side of things. So it depends on the team. In my organization, one of the biggest dependencies would be our testing, because multiple teams test in the same environment. So if you're testing on a certain health plan, no other team or no one else can test on that test plan, or else you'll delete someone's work and have to do a lot of rework. And so how we were able to combat that is I created a calendar in Confluence where all the teams can go in and put in what days they're going to be testing from what times, so no one steps over each other, because they used to do it through email, and it would get lost sometimes in email, and there would be like rework happening because of that.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. All right. So there's one more question here that I would just like us to take. This is the question: does every organization practice SAFe? What do you think?
No, not every organization practices SAFe. I've been with organizations that don't practice SAFe, and then some who do. It just depends on the organization's needs or what they feel like would work for them. If you feel like your organization would benefit from it because of how they're set up, you could go ahead and talk to them, introduce them to the idea. Anytime you observe something and you feel something would be better, have a discussion with leadership or whoever to make it happen. But in my experience, no, not all organizations practice.
Yeah. See, let me just put this information out there. Only based on statistics, only 11% of organizations that practice Agile actually practice SAFe. Only 11%. If you ask me, I would never ever want to recommend, the SAFe the way it is, the biblical SAFe like that, according to the SAFe Bible. I wouldn't, but I would pick. That's a topic of a whole other day. I will pick a little piece from it, because there are things that I think really make sense and I love about the SAFe concept. But there are things that to me doesn't make, I wouldn't want to apply that in my organization. So I pick some things from there, pick some things from all the different frameworks, and then I apply, based on our need. So that's really how I do it. But based on your question, only 11% of organizations out there actually practice SAFe. Okay, so awesome. Thank you so much, Chanel. I'm so thankful that you actually sacrificed your Sunday and you're here today with us, and you've actually shared wonderful insight on your experience in the SAFe environment as a Scrum Master. I've learned so much today, and I believe that our viewers have also learned a whole lot, and we really, really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, you're welcome. So now this is the announcement I have. So we have a giveaway. I'm so excited that we are doing this because it's something I've been thinking about. And the giveaway idea is all about, if you have any business whatsoever, you want visibility. We want to, advertise at least 5 people's businesses, so send us an email if you have a business and you would like visibility on the business. I'll be glad for us to use our social media platform, especially our YouTube channel, and then put your business out there. We advertise your business for you, and we can only take up to 5 people. This is the criteria of prioritization of the people we'll be considering, or the businesses we'll be considering. If you are a member of our YouTube channel, if you actually hold a membership of our YouTube channel, you will be the priority of those 5 people that we will be advertising their business. So please use the name so when you're reaching out to us by email, please use your membership information, the name that you are a member on our YouTube channel, to let us know. So those are the people we will be prioritizing to advertise their business, whatever the business is. Again, legal business, whatever that is. Yes, that's going to be what we will be doing. So I'm really happy that we are getting to do this. And on my birthday is coming up very soon in November. We also have another giveaway that we are planning around that. That's going to be a whole different concept. But until then, I'd like to leave you all in suspense. And once that time comes, I'm going to announce that. So that is it for today. Again, if you're wondering how you would want to reach out to us, if you have any business that you would like us to advertise and create visibility, please send us an email on info@beingagileconsulting.com. That's our email. Or once this show is over, you can just go to the description box. All of our contact information is right in the description box. Just access it and you should be able to get to us very, very easily. Again, thank you all so much. And it's been a wonderful session having you here, Chanel, and to all our viewers. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. I hope this session was helpful, by the way, because it was helpful to me. And have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Thank you all so much, and bye.